Good morning, test enthusiasts of the world. Welcome to the 2016 International Test Conference. I'm Ron Press. It's my pleasure to kick off the conference and the plenary session. At ITC, you'll find a lot of opportunity to interact with and learn from your colleagues, experts, and leaders in the electronics test and related fields. We also have integrated in the program breaks and social events so you have time for casual interactions. There's an exhibit floor that you can speak with solutions providers, and a couple workshops, data and art, automotive, at the end of the conference. Lisi will tell you more about the technical program that we have for you. One of the hot items this year has been automotive test, so much so that for the workshop, the art workshop, we actually had to double the room size to fit all the attendees. So I'd like to start by thanking our corporate supporters. These companies are invested in the success of ITC. I'd like to give my thanks. And also I'd like to thank our sponsors, IEEE and IEEE Philadelphia section. Without sponsorship such as this, it would be difficult to run a conference as ITC. So to give you a layout of where we are and where the rooms are, so we're in the ballrooms right now for the plenary. After the plenary, our Diamond supporter will have their corporate forum event. The session rooms are on the same level around the side. Oops. And then downstairs from where we are is the exhibit floor. And in the exhibit floor, you have the exhibiting companies. We have an 18-wheeler truck parked in there, NXP multimedia truck. Corporate forum is where you'll have exhibiting companies. Some of the exhibiting companies present their corporate forum presentations toward the back of the exhibit area. And on Wednesday, there's a poster session. Lunches each day will be in the back of the exhibit floor. So tonight, please join us for a welcome reception. It's at Ashton Depot, a couple blocks away. I believe it's this area outside the convention center that will have Fort Worth Wranglers ready to bring us over. You can come when you want to come, but there'll be some people escorting us a little before 6:30. Now, to get a quick view of the program, almost in the center of your program guide is a one-page layout of the program. We also have an online conference guide that you can use with your mobile device. And in there, when you're looking at a session, there's also a link to a rating card. So, sorry, back one slide, please. Yeah, so definitely please fill out the session ratings. This gives us a better view of which papers and which presentations are award quality. We take this input as well as the surveys we send out to try to find how we can make this conference a better conference for you. Now, as some of you might have noticed, the political community has started to use social media. At ITC, we're starting to use social media as well, maybe in a little bit different manner. But for ITC, you can connect to us or link to us with Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And I'd want to express my appreciation for the steering committee. These are mostly volunteers that through the year work hard to try to bring this conference for you and make it as effective as possible. So one last statement I have. So the goal of ITC is to enable the worldwide test community. So we have a conference in the US every year but there's a lot of regions where maybe it's more difficult to connect to. So we had this idea that let's use people in these regions to help solve how do we connect to them better. So with the help of Gordon Roberts, Lisi Wang, Scott Davidson, we've actually set up some new committees, one in Asia, ITC Asia, and one in India, ITC India. So what this means is these committees are figuring out how to connect the best of what we have at ITC to their regions, and then maybe take what's best done at these regional conferences and bring them back to ITC. This is similar to what medical systems sometimes use with spoke and wheel. So we're connecting out regionally. And so this is an experiment we're trying. Both of them have events 2017. So at ITC, there's representation from both ITC India, ITC Asia. There'll be some type of posters out, I think, near the exhibit floor. And now that we have social media, they should be promoting their events on the ITC LinkedIn and other pages. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce Lisi Wang, the ITC Program Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It has been a great honor to serve you this year as a program chair. First, I would like to thank all the program committee members, the track chair, the section organizer, panel organizer, embedded tutorial organizer, and because their help and their collective wisdom and tireless effort, and that's how we have this very strong program this year. And of course, I would like to thank all the reviewers. It may not be a lot of you sitting here, you may not be in the program committee, but your contribution to the program this year is invaluable. Without you, we will not even have a program. Oh, sorry. So this year we received a large number of submissions, and we end up accepting 51 paper, which is the acceptance rate is a little bit below 30%, and that enabled us with some invited talk together to make 18 technical paper sections. And then on top of that, we also have a special section on a variety of hot topics. So we have 8 special sections on automotive and the heterogeneous integration, and like low power, high power testing. So all these topics that important to the industry today, we put them in the special section. And we also have 2 embedded tutorial, one on failure analysis, the other one automotive standard. And we have 5 panel sections, and actually the 6th one was yesterday, the Monday evening. And then so 3 panel will be today in the afternoon, and the other 2 will be on Thursday afternoon. And we have 1 poster with 25 posters, and instead have elevated talk like previous year. And this year we decided that maybe we use the elevated talk section to give the poster presenter have a chance to talk about their poster in the section. So in the afternoon, there's a 2-hour section. The 24 poster presenter will come and introduce their poster, but the actual poster will be tomorrow during noontime. And the conference focus, in addition to all the submission, I think almost half of the conference is by the special section tutorial, embedded tutorial, and the special section and panel. So we try to reflect what is important to you. And then thanks for all the special session organizers. You can see this year there's a highlights. It's like automotive definitely is one of the highlights. The security is another highlight, the heterogeneous integration, system tests, and 3D, and so on. So I hope you will enjoy this special program this year. And we have 3 distinguished keynote, and right after this plenary, we'll have Dr. Wally Ryans from Mental-Graphy to give a keynote. And on Thursday, we have the CEO of SRC, the Semiconductor Research Corporation, to come and give a keynote. And tomorrow, the keynote is a special keynote in honor of Ed McCluskey and Professor Rod Rutenbach from UIUC Computer Science, the head of Computer Science Department, will come and give a keynote. And that's, at this point, I think most of you probably heard the pass away of Professor Ed McCluskey. I would like to say something because we especially have this keynote tomorrow in honor of Professor McCluskey. But I feel that to me personally, I think many of us directly, indirectly influenced by Ed. And for me, I would like to say something, but I feel like personally, it's really, you cannot use words to describe the great character of a man like that. So at this moment, I would like to observe a moment of silence. Okay. So next, I'm going to introduce the 2015 Program Chair, Bill Eklow again, and he's going to hand out the 2015-2014 Best Paper Award, 2005-2006 Most Significant Award. I have to say something about 2014 Best Paper Award. It was decided last year, right, during the conference, and we did not get a chance to hand it out because various reasons. So we kind of delay for a year. That's why we have 2 years at the same time. So Bill Eklow.
Thanks, Lee. And that amateur probably should be in capital letters. So, let me say this: we missed 1 year on the best paper. I'll talk a little bit about best paper. One of our best paper candidates actually was hiding for most of the time in the conference. To talk about best paper and what goes into a best paper, I'll say it's having done this, it's a very, very time-consuming and a very challenging effort. And really, it's one of these things that's very important to all of us. And in that sense, what I'd like to do is thank all of my colleagues in the committee for the Best Paper Awards and the Most Significant Paper Awards. Let me make sure I'm on the right page here. Yorgos Makris, Haralampos, Strategopoulos, Jeff Rearick, Chris Chakrabarty, Jacob Abraham, Gordon Roberts, and Lee. Amongst all of us, we were actually able to put together the 2 years of Best Paper and Most Significant Paper Awards. Now, to talk about Best Paper, we look at, and Lee actually pointed out, we got a lot of papers. We look at the paper content itself, and we look at the yellow cards, the feedback that comes back from the presentations. We do a very thorough job in terms of reviewing each of these areas and eventually come up with the best paper. For a most significant paper, I think this is a very challenging thing. What we're doing is looking for papers that really make it through the test of time. These are papers that are from 10 years ago, but still have pretty significant relevance today. So with that in mind, let me start for first the Ned Kornfield Paper Award for 2014, title Yield Optimization Using Advanced Statistical Correlation Methods. And the authors are Jeff Tikkanen, Sebastian Siakowski, Nick Sumikawa, Lee C. Wang, who's not hiding this year, and Magni Yabavir. Could you come up for your awards, please? I have to tell you, these plaques are scaring the crap out of me, too. So I'm hoping none of these falls over. So now I'll invite the authors for the 2014 Ned Kornfield Best Paper Award. I'm sorry, 2015, I'm sorry. So will the authors for the 2015 Best Paper Award please come up? Title, A Structured Approach to Post-Silicon Validation and Debug Using Symbolic Quick Error Detect. Authors are David Lin, Ishan Singh, Clark Barrett, and Subhashish Mehta.
There's a typo in her title.
Uh-oh. Okay, thank you. Now the most significant paper. So this year, again, we have two awards. The most significant paper from 2005 and the most significant paper from 2006. I'd like to invite the authors for 2005 to come up, and I just recognize that they're all in Japan, so it'd probably be a while before they'd make it to the podium. So, but the most significant paper award in 2005 is titled Invisible Delay Quality Lights Up What Could Not Be Seen. The authors are Yasu Sato, Seiji Kajihara, Toshiyuko Maeda, Atsuo Takanori, and Professor Nozuyama. And these people will be receiving their award at the Asian Test Symposium. For 2006, the most significant paper award, I would like to invite the authors to come up. The title is Preferred Fill, a Scalable Method to Reduce Capture Power for Scan-Based Designs. Santiago Ramasaro, Zhijiang Zhang, Sudhakar Reddy, Irith Pomerantz, and Janusz Reisky. All right, next on the agenda is Yervant.
Good morning and welcome to ITC. Today I have the pleasure to announce a few distinguished awards from the Test Technology Technical Council. The first of which is the highest level IEEE award dedicated to test technology. It's the Lifetime Contribution Medal. This is given to an outstanding contributor to our industry, a person who has made a fundamental impact, and it is annually announced here at ITC, at our TTTC flagship event, that is. And also we publish it in Design and Test. And it's based on nominations, so be open to do that. In previous years, we have given this award to many very prominent members of our community. Some of them unfortunately departed, others are with us and they continue to contribute, and you're familiar with most of them. This year we have done the same, so we have gone through a selection process, and the selection of this year came out to be to Professor Janak Patel. Janak is a person very familiar to most of you. He has been in our industry for quite some time, and he has made a fundamental contribution. Janak has done his undergraduate studies in India first, in Gujarat and in IIT Madras. Then he moved to Stanford. He did his master's and PhD at Stanford in the early 70s. His first academic position was in Purdue. And then, since then, he is at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. He went through all the ranks until a chair professor position. At the same time, he co-directed for over 20 years the Center for Reliable and High-Performance Computing. He also ventured in the industry domain. He co-founded NextGen Microsystems, and later he co-founded Sunrise Test System, which later got acquired by ViewLogic and later by Synopsys. So his contributions were many. You know many of his papers. He has published over 250 papers. He has got some of them into Best Paper domain at DAC, at VTS. He was elected an IEEE Fellow and also a Fellow of ACM. He received this very prestigious IEEE Peori Award, and his work was with many, many graduate students, over 25 PhDs and many master's students who have done that. His research work was not only in testing. He contributed into computer architecture domain, on cache memories, on pipeline architectures, on interconnect networks, and so on. But his test-oriented research is very familiar to us. His work in parallel fault simulation, his work in ATPG, sequential ATPG that is, and his work also in the area of Illinois scan chain architecture. We know about that. Many of us still refer to it today. So Janak's contribution to our industry is in various aspects, from being a key educator, to being a mentor to his students and others, to being an innovator in various topics in the area of test, to pioneering the earliest startup in the area of test, and with that, impacting our test community. Please join me in welcoming Janak. Thanks, Janak.
Thank you for this generous award and generous, overwhelming introduction that I don't deserve. But I must say that if any of this is my achievement, it is due to many, many other people, including my former colleagues and my students. Some of them are present here, and you know them: Vivek Chakramaney, Wutong Chang, Jeff Rearick, Liang Lang, Manish Sharma. So there's quite a few active test students. And I essentially ride on their work. My glory is not mine, but it is theirs. And so with that, thank you, Test.
The next award is a newer one that we started last year. It's called the Bob Madge Award for Innovation, and this is after the late Bob Madge, one of our key contributors to our industry. This award is meant for individuals or small teams that impact our industry in a short period of time. So it is not meant for this long-term impact, but rather a window of time, but a fundamental impact in the test and the yield domain. As I mentioned, last year was the first time that we did this award, and it's again based on nominations done by June with a committee of academia and industry contributors. So I'm pleased to announce this year's recipient. He's a very good colleague and friend to many of us. That's Jeff Rearick. Jeff has been in our industry for quite some time. He has contributed many things. For this time, his contribution to the IEEE 1687 standard is distinguished. So his effort there is key, and the standard is getting expanded and adopted in the industry by many of us, and therefore we would like to acknowledge him with this. Jeff, in case you don't know him, I'm sure you do, he's a senior fellow of AMD, as well as he has done many patents, over 40 of them. But also for ITC, he has published 7 papers out of the top 10 of ITC, which is really very important. Thanks again. So Marianne Madge is presenting the award to Jeff. Thanks, Marianne, for being with us as well. We also encourage our students. We have 2 awards for students, as you know, annually. So one student is selected for a Student Service Award. That is the Jerry Gordon Student Service Award. It's a joint award with TTTC and ITC together, and supported also by IEEE Philadelphia section. It's dedicated to a current student who contributes in his services to the test community. You see, at ITC and many of the other conferences that we have around the world, we have students who volunteer their services, and we do a selection of the best one of the year. So this year, the recipient of this Student Service Award goes to Krikor Jagarian. Krikor Jagarian is from Yervant State University. He has helped organize the East-West Design and Test Symposium, which took place last year, and it was a very successful conference for which we're giving this award to him. Krikor, if you stand up, please, we can acknowledge you. The final student award is the one named after Professor McCloskey years ago. So we made this award for the best doctoral thesis of the year, and we take it through 2 stages. One stage is doing the semifinals at 4 continents around the world. This year at VTS, at the European Test Symposium, Asian Test Symposium, and the Latin American Test Symposium. And then the finals being here. Actually, the finals will happen this afternoon, if you're interested to go to that session, to see the 4 best papers among the PhDs, and to be part of the process, as you see the selection, which we'll be announcing on Thursday at the plenary session as well. With that, I complete my list of awards for today, and I'd like to invite Wang back to the podium to introduce our distinguished keynoter.